Que lo que Knicks fans. It is a jam-packed episode of Knicks fans Wildin' today, episode 62 before the draft. Twas the night before the draft. It's like Christmas morning, Christmas Eve right now for my boy Chris. So we got a jam-packed show. Don Juan, speak to the people real quick.
Don Juan in the building, man. Looking forward to the show. I'm looking forward for the insight. Honestly, I kid you not. I know the first three players by memory. Heard about them all year. Then the rest of the draft is like, wait a minute, isn't that okay? Okay, okay. But most names ain't familiar to me, and we got the right guy here to break us down a bit of what the draft, what to expect, and maybe some sleepers that we can even target later on. So looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Zebo was good, man.
Just here, man. Yo, off season cooking right now, man. All the rumors going on, man. I ain't gonna lie, I've been having my notifications on right now. So nah, it's dope to have Chris on right now. It's crazy. This is the first show I'm actually doing with Chris. So that's
Oh yeah,
fine.
we had technical difficulties last time, but
Yeah, yeah. For the
anyways,
first beginning of the
always
season,
say
yeah.
it's a great time when we got the president of the Off the Ball Network gave me and Don Juan the opportunity, and we still out here rocking. And this guy just he does it all. He does it all. Got his own thing going on. So I don't even want to talk about. Y'all should know him already. The president, Chris LeBron. What's good, man? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, fellas? Always a pleasure to hop on the show and all that. So can't wait to chop it up with you guys, talk some draft, talk some Knicks. Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's get right into it, bro. This draft supposedly very deep, very healthy. That's been the rumor all year. So Knicks fans were clamoring for that 11th pick from Dallas to fall, and it just fell short by one pick. So right now the Knicks are on the outside looking in. Hopefully not for long. But just talk about this draft. One thing I wanted to say is Chris has a mock, a very fire mock, man. 58 names, pretty impressive, man. When I saw Ricky Council the fifth somewhere there, I'm like, yo, I'm like going too deep. Who is this guy? Who's Ricky
Mm-hmm.
Council the fifth, man? And I don't know how Chris got him like 50 something on the board, but Chris, I saw that you have Scoop still number two on your list. So I just want to talk about that top draft, and I'm sure it's gonna get crazy up there.
So yeah, Scoots, he's number two for me. And even if I'm Charlotte, I would take him number two. I know we're hearing it, it felt like at one point it was like, all right, they're gonna take Miller. And then like it's like, all right, Scoot's been having the better workouts, it's gonna be Scoot. Then it's back to going, even the odds, DraftKings, all these, they got Miller favored to go two. And but I'm in the campers like I'm all in on Scoot. I think he's gonna be an all-star level player. He's gonna be a model citizen. And if you're Charlotte, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck right now. You need some model citizens on your squad right now, right? Like you got PJ Washington, he's messing with Brittany Renner and all that, right? That fiasco. And that's not even like on the top, like that would be on most people's like top like nastiness on their team. He's actually skating away because his other teammates, you got other teammates, and then you got the whole Bridges stuff. That's nasty. That's really nasty. That's the worst. And then like LaMelo is just, we know he's a good player, but all we hear about is the jewelry, the cars, all this other stuff, and all that. Like it's never about ball, and there's still questions about whether how much he, you know, does he love basketball for what it brings to him, as far as fame and all that, and those are things and they were just trash last year. So like all that, like, and then you got Brandon Miller. Yeah, he could hoop. Yeah, he was the best freshman last year, but we all know what happened. Everything that happened last year, and that's all it's going to be talked about, right? And because it's still going on, still
Mhm.
ongoing, and there's teams that like that when you interview and they're asking him about what's going on. He's like, I can't tell you. I'm trying to invest in you in a top three pick. I need to know what's going on, you
Yeah.
know. So I just and then there's stuff like on the court wise that like I feel like I don't know if it's with Miller that he can never figure out as far as like getting to the rim and all that. Like he didn't do that well in college, and maybe with more spacing he'd be able to be better. But there's still when I saw him getting to the rim, it just there wasn't he shot a low percentage and all that, and it's still a little stiff. He's not a crazy athlete and all that, but there's still things that I'm like not crazy about. But Scoot, man, I know people worry about the shooting and all. I think that'll come along, but like, you try to think of like Derrick Rose and John Morant, like that type of player, and like I know that's like cliche, but it's true though. He's that type of player, and those players they smoothed in. Derrick Rose on MVP. John Morant minus the other BS and all that. He's a great player. So for me, 2, I'm taking Scoot. If I was Charlotte, especially new ownership coming in, Jordan, he's still going to be there. He still has, a big portion still. He just sold a lot of his stake to, his the other partners. But I would still take Scoot number 2. Like, I think he's going to represent the franchise. He's going to work. He's already built like a tank.
Yeah.
Right. He got an NBA body already. So he's going to be able to hang, to be able to handle that. So if I'm that, and then if you still have LaMelo, if you got LaMelo, I think you could still work with them, make LaMelo more like a slasher and all that, which he can because he's 6'8", 6'9", and all that. Play some more off ball for him. I think they could work better. But I know Miller's the fit, but I don't think in the NBA in the draft you draft for fit. I think it's not the NFL. Whether you got 7 rounds and all, like, no, you take the best player. To me, he's the best player.
Who's coaching the Hornets again?
They fired him like a few years back, then brought him back. I forgot.
Clifford.
Oh, that's Clifford.
Yeah, Clifford.
I mean, do we trust them to make that work? I don't know. I don't really know.
They're a mess. They're a mess. Like, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
When they signed Steve Clifford back, I'm like, Jordan definitely the worst owner ever. like he left his legacy as we all know what he did on the court, whole greatest of all time. But the owner, he's literally the complete opposite. He might be the worst owner in sports because the moves he made, just some bad decisions.
Let's get out of the Charlotte, man, because they in the mud right now. But they got the number 2 overall pick that gets you out the mud fast. But this is Knicks fans wilding, so we got to start kicking it to the Knicks, man. Listen, you talked about the front half of that draft. I saw my New York Knicks get exposed in the second round. Just nobody who could take the ball off, be another secondary ball handler after Jalen Brunson, or somebody who could shoot. We need somebody who could shoot, space the floor, preferably tall. We need a big 3. We need a 3 and D. That's what we need. We need a 3 and D guy. So, Chris, tell me, is there someone that we should target late in the draft, maybe early second rounds? Is there a 3 and D guy that you have right here a few minutes to convince us that that's our guy?
A 3 and D guy. I mean, Maxwell Lewis, if we were able to get like to the back end of that first round, possibly, he can be a guy that I would think would be great. I mean, he was someone that early on in like maybe beginning of the year, end of 2022, people were saying top 10 buzz, because of the 6'7" and score and all that. Then he kind of tailed off the end of the year and all that because he didn't play for a good team. They were trash. So like every team was just doubling him and all that. So his like efficiency numbers went down and all that. And he's not the greatest defender, but 6'7" and all that. He's still he with his length alone, he could still get in front of guys and all that. So he's a name that I like. Julian Strawther from Gonzaga is another one. I think he's gonna be in the second round. He's a big shot maker too. Like, and he's got range too. Like, I forgot what game it was. I don't know if it was a conference.
I think it was a tournament. I think I remember him. Didn't he make? Was it a buzzer beater he made? I think I remember.
I don't know if it was an exact buzzer beater, but it was near. It was to get him up.
Yeah, it was during the tournament. Yeah, I think it was to go to the. I'm pretty sure it was either to the elite eight.
Big shot that just and so he has the range and all that. So he's another guy that we could possibly target. I think the Knicks they got to look at wings. Wings like this. No more 6'3", and thinking that they can defend these 6'8". We need guys. We need 6'7", 6'8" dudes, and all that.
Yeah.
So they just got to look at guys like that. I know Jordan Walsh would be. I mean, that's the guy. He clamp people up. He may not shoot, but I think the shot could get improved. But he clamps people up. He was clamping up dudes in the SEC.
It's
You know,
tough.
that,
It's
you know,
it's tough because you could see like you either get a guy who could play lockdown defense and can't shoot, or you get a
yeah.
guy who can't shoot and can't play
Can
defense.
play
And,
defense.
and the Knicks need both.
Especially when the second round, if guys could do that, they wouldn't be second round picks most likely. You know, so they probably gonna be in the first round. So you know, it's hard to find those type of guys in the second round.
Yeah.
You know, unless you get really lucky, you can find a diamond in a rough and all that. But you know, you're most likely gonna get guys who are, you know, either defenders, you know, and then there's plenty of those guys. Jordan Miller from Miami, I like a lot. Now he's an older guy, and if you're older, you know, biased person, then you might not like that because he's gonna be like
Yeah.
24 by season start, something like that. So,
Yeah, I
but
remember
he's
him. He
someone
played
that could
good
do.
during the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they went
I
to the
like him.
Final
I like
Four.
him.
He's a big reason
Yeah,
why they
yeah,
went to the Final Four and
yeah.
all that. You know, so there's guys like him, Jalen Slauson. You know, dude from Furman. They had the upset in the first round. He's a big reason why. He's a big wing and all that. Ben Shepherd too. You know, he from Belmont. His stock. I remember hearing about him early in the season. Someone from No Ceilings put me. Oh, Steven from No Ceilings put
Oh,
me
yeah.
on him. He wrote an article, and I was asking about him, like, "Yo, I need to. What do you?" And he told me, gave me, you know, what he liked about him. So I started following him. So he's someone he might even go to the first end of the first round and all that because, you know, he's young, you know, he has the size and all that teams like and all that. So, you know, but yeah, those are some guys. It's just hard to see because we don't have a pick, and we're
Yeah.
not hearing anything about the Knicks
Exactly.
doing anything, you know,
Mhm.
and you know, so I don't know if there's a good thing, a bad thing, you know, so like I don't even know. So like it's just crazy because like trying to do like do draft stuff for the Knicks, I'm like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't they could get in the first round. I think they can, but are they? You know, they
Yeah.
can get in the second round. I don't know. Do they want to? Are we just gonna watch the draft and the Knicks don't got a pick? You know, am I gonna
Which
be
has
on Knicks?
happened
Am I
before.
gonna
Which
be
has
on Knicks
happened
fan
before.
TV just like this? Like, oh,
That's what I'm saying. Like I'll be watching you for 3 hours, and you like, no,
it's gonna be like
it's,
this.
Yeah.
At least we had fun last year when they had an 11 pick, and then everybody
Yeah.
freaked out when we took Ousmane Dieng. We took another Frenchman who averaged like 5
Yeah.
points a game, and people were bugging out.
For real.
that was
You know,
fun. That
but
was fun.
it's just hard this year. I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't.
Nothing beats the 2 years ago when it was James Booknight
Oh, book
confusion.
night, yeah, the book night.
Yeah.
That was
But
funny.
let's
When
see,
That was
man.
that was the 19th pick. What pick was that?
well,
I think it was
Book night won
19,
11th or 12th that year, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh wow.
but,
Dang. But yeah, speaking of finding diamonds in the rough that you mentioned earlier, Chris, is there a steep talent level drop like somewhere late first round, early second round that you kind of know if you're gonna trade into the draft, what's kind of the cutoff point? Like, all right, you don't want to get that pick.
Honestly, I don't think there is. I think you can get
Yeah.
a good player at 58. There's going to be guys undrafted that teams are going to be running to the phone because there's going to be guys getting undrafted that probably should be like top 40 picks.
Damn.
It's we know about Wemby and Scoot and know those guys, right? But the health, the meat of the draft is like 20 to like 45, 50. Like that's where you're going to get those players that are going to fit the rest of your roster and help you try to win a championship. That's where you're going to get a lot of good role players in this draft. And as we saw with the two teams that went to the finals, big reason why they, those teams went to the finals and why Denver's world champions is, a lot of their role players and all that. A lot of their so Christian Braun step up, who they drafted last year and fit perfectly, right?
Yep.
And that's what teams are going to be looking for now. I know everybody wants to hit the home run. Everybody wants to hit the home run and find that, that Joker, right? Everybody wants to find that Giannis and all that, but that's so rare. It rarely happens. You got to find those role players that fit perfectly and all that. So that's where you're going to be able to find this. And this is the draft where you're going to find those type of players. So I think even the Knicks, we hear about the Knicks getting to 50. I think whoever they get that 50th pick is going to be I think they're going to make the team. I think they can make the team and contribute. That's how there's so many good. There's so many.
Tibbs is the coach, though. I don't know about the.
I know,
but
Tibbs is the
we've
coach
been
that.
finding players with those picks. So,
I mean, we don't
I was
draft
gonna
well
say
in the
that.
top
we end up
5.
picking somebody
We don't
better.
draft well in the top 10, but and
But
outside
when
of
it
that,
comes to the low,
when it comes to late,
late
round,
first
no.
round, second round picks, we hit them babies.
Yeah.
Top 10,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but after 15 and in the second round, we hit them. We hit. So,
No, yeah, we hit with Grimes, man. We hit with, I mean, we hit with a lot of our guys in the low pick. I
yeah,
mean,
we
come
just
on,
suck
like
in the
we all,
top
like
10,
all of our
but
young guys contributed. Yeah,
yeah, no. But I'm saying, and you just find those guys that just, and what I like about second round picks is that they gonna work. They're gonna work because they want that next contract to be guaranteed, or they want you to be able to turn that two-way into a full-time contract. So that they're coming in and they're coming in grinding. All right, they're gonna come in working. That's why you see a lot of second round picks lately starting to make moves and all that, to make headways and so I think that's this that. And now with the talent coming in, I've told you guys a bunch about the talent that's coming in year out. Second round picks are a couple years ago, second round picks, we wouldn't even talk about second round picks. It don't even be like second round. Who cares? All right, we just talk about the first round and all that.
Just throw it in the.
Just
throw it
throw
in
it in.
there.
Even in 2K, right? Even in 2K, you just get let me get over. Get the crap out of second.
Take
round
all
pick.
my second round.
Yeah. Now 2K, you're like, oh man, I might keep some second round picks. Might get this foreign kid, and that's how the league is working now. It's like there's more value on second round picks than there ever was. Like teams want second round picks because you can get some good players in the second round, and you might get lucky, and you find out one guy from Serbia.
or
nobody talking
Draymond,
about,
or
Draymond that nobody talking about, everybody's sleeping on, and then you hit a home run. That Manu Ginobili or whatever. You never know, but you still get good players and all that. So like the value of second round picks have never been as high as they are now.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing too about the second round is that the reason why they are second round picks is because even though, for example, like Miles McBride, I mean, you could tell out of college he was a really great defender. Like that's the reason why he's currently in the league. I mean, obviously he's a second round pick because he's not he's not a guard that's going to go ahead and play, make, and dribble and everything. But you'll know he is an elite defender. So. Yeah, bro. That's the nice thing about them. Like they can go, you can plug them in right away in whatever specific skill set they do have.
Yep. I think there should be 3 rounds.
Nah, come on. There's not that many teams yet.
Well, the G League
is 3 rounds. Yeah, you got the G League now. Every team's gonna have an own affiliate soon.
Chris, why are you trying to give yourself more work? That's what I'm trying to figure out. You want to have a
100 people? 100.
You put 100 big board. I don't know.
Bro. I want more rounds.
One more round.
One more round. They did it back in like the 70s. They had like 6 rounds and all. I don't want 6 rounds. Give me 3. One more round. One more round.
Man. Shout out to Knicks are nice, man. The Duarte and Obi, it was there. I was clamoring for it. I was clamoring for a while, but the Pacers already made their move. I think they still got to consolidate, but they might not be all in. But Zebo, you got a question for our guy Chris Lebron here on draft. Twas the night before the draft.
Yeah, so I had 2. The one I'm gonna leave it for just for later on is about a late round pick. But I did want to ask you real quick, just like as far as what decisions the Knicks should make, because I know we did mention obviously the fact that Triple M did say we do need a 3-and-D type of wing. But and obviously with the draft, I mean, again, a lot of these, except for the top 3, again, like you said, those are, I feel like the draft, this draft is good because you get some good plug-in guys. So if you need specifically a shooter or a defender, you can go ahead and like really good role players. But do you think it's even worth the Knicks trading in to get to the draft, or should they actually trade for for sure known NBA player?
For like a star player or something like that?
Not even a star player. Like for example, needing a 3-and-D guy. Do you think we should go ahead and just trade for for an NBA player, or should we just go ahead and trade in the draft and try to find that and just try to find that 3-and-D type of guy in the draft?
If you're actually me personally, I would go the youth route, try to get a young player you develop. But we all know who's coaching and then how they kind of run shop there. So. But if you're asking me what I would do, I would trade. I would try to trade because I feel like one of the good wings that are being talked about in like the top 15 to 18 range are going to drop to the late 20s. Like, let's say, for instance, Dariq Whitehead. I feel like he's a name that could drop.
Jersey, right? Jersey guy. Yeah.
Jersey kid. Yeah. Jersey, went to Mount Verde and all that. Was
really athletic.
Yeah. So, and he just had a surgery. He hasn't worked out for any teams. So far, didn't really show his explosiveness at Duke,
right?
But still shot the ball really well, right? And he has a nice shot and all that, catch and shoot, off the dribble, all that stuff. If he, let's say he's dropping because people worry about the foot. If he gets, let's say he gets past 25, 26, that's a even if he doesn't, even if he's still dealing with the foot and all that, and he's not gonna be explosive, he can still shoot it. What do we need? We need more shooters, right? I think that's someone
Right.
that if he's there, if he's dropping that far, that's something you'd be like, all right, we got to call, you know, I think Indiana just traded their second round, their at late first round pick, but whoever is down there, that's something you got to be like, hey, this is a kid who, yeah, right now he can help us with shooting, and then down the line he could be a player for us, you
Right.
know, regardless of what, because we don't even know if Tibbs is going to be here next year. Let's keep it real too. We don't know if
For
Tibbs
sure.
is going to be here, so this is a piece that we can help build for, and what if they trade RJ, whatever they do, I don't know what they're going to do, but like this stuff they got to figure out. But I think that's something I would look out for. I think a lot of the stuff is going to be during the draft,
Yeah.
and they're going to see it, because there's always a guy who drops. Always a guy, like everyone. It feels like this is the one draft where everyone feels like we kind of know who the top 15 to 20 guys are. Everyone like kind of just, well, this guy has, but kind of like everybody has the same 20, but that's not how it always works. It's always going to be guys dropping, and it's going to be a guy in the lottery. You're like, who? How? It always happens. So like
Yeah.
Sure.
someone's going to drop. It's going to be Derek. And if he drops far enough, the Knicks, to me, gotta find a way to get up and call and make a trade. They got all these protected picks, that we thought were going to be good, and now they trash right now. So try to get rid of some of those future protectors, and if you have to, and second rounds, and try to get up to get Derek if that happens, because I think he could drop.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of reminds me. I don't know if this sounds familiar to you, saying that happened to Karis LeVert. I mean, he kept dropping and dropping, and then the Nets eventually scooped him up, and he helped them get a bona fide star. He did well for Brooklyn. He's been
That's what he
serviceable.
did.
He
Yeah,
that's one game actually in the
he
playoffs.
had a 50. I think he scored 50 in the game, right?
He still got it, but yeah, good point all around, Chris. And just Zebo, the Knicks, they need to get like a rookie kind of scale contract in here, man. We do. I mean, we didn't get one last year, so it's I feel like it's very important that we talk about the new CBA all the time, man. It's coming, and these contracts, these numbers can get up. So if you could get a rookie on a rookie scale deal, I think,
Got to pay IQ. IQ wants what?
yeah,
9 figures.
yeah,
He wants 9 figures. And then guess what? You're gonna have to pay Jalen Brunson in 2 years. And
Yeah.
guess what? It ain't gonna be as little as
It
it
ain't
was
gonna
last
be
time. It's
not
gonna
even
be
close.
he gonna
Right.
get a lot, because he gonna probably make an all-star team, all NBA in these next 2 years, and then that it just escalates and all that, you know. So this team gonna get real expensive, right? So like you said, I think we got to get some of these, especially on the bench, and you'll pay Josh Hart $80 million. So you're gonna have to get some guys on some rookie scale contracts, you know. So
Oh, we gotta do some trades. Let's get into the trade cycle, man. That's where we want to get into, like, the nitty gritty, the rumor report, man. Don Juan, let's talk about me. Give me the latest rumor. Don Juan, usually our rumor guy here. He's about.
Well, we all day today, a lot of speculation on that the next. Well, I guess it's been linked from for a bit now. Is Obi going to get traded to the Pacers? The Pacers need a power forward, so there was just some connection there. But the Pacers just made their move, and the picks that we were assumed that we would have been able to get, aren't there no more. So now this whole situation with Obi just got tricky. And it just so happens all that happened today, and then there's word that Obi doesn't want to be in the team. He wanted to get traded at the deadline. There's a recording of him and Tibbs going at it. That's just nasty stuff all over Twitter today. I mean, it got crazy. But at the same time, I feel like this has hit a wall. But where are we going to trade him? There has to be a market for him, I would assume, right?
I think
But you know what are we gonna do? The next move really depends on whether it's a pick, like you guys were talking about earlier. Are we gonna move Obi for a pick? Or are we gonna include Obi for a big play? Like we've been connected with Zach Levine. They said they want two young guys. IQ and Obi would fit that criteria, right? So something tells me to, you know, in my end, let's hold on to Obi, but for let's hold on to Obi for the big play. But you guys mentioned we should do it for a pick. And that's been all out today, man. And Obi wants out. I don't know how y'all feel. Do you feel like we got to trade him like even like sooner now that he's calling he wants out? Because this is an interesting situation. Do we want to take this into the season? My thought was, maybe we trade him at the deadline. Triple M brought up a good point last week where he said at the deadline you really lose all the value because he pretty much is going to be out in a few months and whatnot. But you know, what y'all think about Obi's asking out? Because it's a pretty big deal, and he's calling out Tibbs at the same time. A lot of people got a lot of problems with Tibbs. A lot of people agree with Obi. He's been wanting to play. I feel like we did a disservice in his part, but Randall blew up, man. So, what you guys think about Obi calling out?
Yeah, Chris, but yeah, Chris, man, look, Chris. Before Chris, you speak, I was killing you with the RJ. I'm like, man, RJ's this, and you was like, yo, bro, relax on RJ. Now I'm relaxed on RJ. I'm relaxed on RJ. So let me hear your Obi thoughts, bro.
I think I think it was even draft day, right? When we draft him, it was still like a little bit of a head scratcher. Like, even though Julius did not have the greatest year, it was still like, well, we still have him. It's if we don't have the point guard, this doesn't make sense and all. And then Julius blew up, and then I was like, oh wow, like this is going to be tough for him to get out because he's stuck. He's a one position guy,
Mhm.
so it's not like he's versatile, and that's why if he would have come out now, he probably wouldn't even be a top 10 pick because he's stuck at one position, and with the defensive flaws, it's hard to take a guy that high and all that. But it's I don't blame him for wanting to get a trade, because he came in at 23 years old, right? So he's already, time's ticking already, and all that. By the time he gets his second contract, he's gonna be 26, years old, all that, and that might be it. He might get one big deal and that's it. So for him, I get it and all that, but the Randall blowing up, whether I know some fans may hate that that Randall blew up and all that, but like that's what happened, and that's not. I don't think the Knicks thought that. If the Knicks thought that was going to happen, they don't draft him, right? Let's just keep it right. They don't draft him. They take Halliburton, which they probably should have taken in the first place. And if I told them to do it, if they listened to me, we'd be in a different position. They should have just took Hallie. It would have been straight. But whatever. I don't want to go back to that. But it's just an unfortunate. It's just bad luck all around. For him, it just the player that he's in front of that they thought he was going, that they were probably going to trade, waive. He decided to get in the best shape of his life and ball out like crazy, have an all NBA season. And now the player they thought is like, well, you can't play the 5 because we got Mitch there and you can't protect the rim. And you can't play the 3 because you getting cooked. You ain't getting cooked. So it's like, bro, you got to stay behind him and just whatever minutes you get, make the best of it. And then Juice Rams keep getting better and better and all that. And it's just like, it's just an unfortunate situation. And for him, it's best that he leaves and all that. And if he goes to Indiana, he goes with Halliburton. That's the perfect situation for him.
Yeah.
You played a point guard that averaged 10 assists a game last year. He gonna find you in space. You got him, Matherin, with Miles Turner. If Miles Turner's still there, because he's been in the trade block for 6 years already. He's been a Laker for 6 years. So like maybe he finally goes there. But it's an unfortunate situation. I root for him. I hope if this is it for him, I root for him and all that. It's just an unfortunate situation. Knicks didn't expect Julius to go ball out, and it benefited the team, and just an unfortunate situation. And he's a limited player, so if he was able to play multiple positions, if he was a little bit more shiftier with his hips, I remember someone told me about that. I didn't believe in the tight hips and the stiff. I'm like, but he's flying. I'm like, they're like, no, I know y'all see that athleticism, but it's more than that. And that's when I learned about tight hips and shiftiness and twitchiness. I was like, oh, I get it now and all that. And I didn't see that back then. But, if he gets moved, I wish the best for him and all that. And I'm sure he gonna make the best of it. You know, again, him getting an opportunity to start somewhere or at least get minutes. You know, he gonna make the best of it because when he started here, what he was average like 20 and 8, 20 and 7 when he got starter minutes. So you know, we know wherever he goes, he's gonna be able to put up nice numbers there and be able to get a nice second contract. So you know, I wish the best for Obi.
Yeah, nah, great points all around, bro. I feel like you. I'm a root for Obi. It's just the thing that scares me with Obi. I think is kind of what you heard a lot of times, where it's like too many cooks in the Knicks front office kitchen. So, right, you're right about the Julius Randle thing, but then you see Randle and you commit to him, you give him another
Yeah.
contract, 4 years, whatever. So you committing 4 years to Randle, and it's like, okay, you love Obi, Obi's agent is Leon Rose's son, so Leon Rose has an affection for Obi. He wants to see Obi succeed, but then you
Mm-hmm.
commit to Randle and you still have Obi there. Like, who's really talking? You're not in line with the coach because Tibbs, even if that audio was fake today, whatever the case might be, I mean, Tibbs just really never liked Obi, and it's been laughed about before, but you see it. You definitely see it. Obi takes a bad shot, and Tibbs is yanking him out. He's like, just get out of here. It's like the only Knicks player that he really does that to. Just like 1, 2 mistakes is like, nah, get out of here. Julius, come back in this game.
Yeah.
So,
And you saw Toppin played it with how hesitant was he a lot of times. Now he played a little bit more confidence at some points this year, but there was a lot of times where he was just like, scared to do like because he knew like he's only got like 8 to 12 minutes to play, and like I can't mess up, and that's hard to play as a player when if you make a mistake, I might go from 8 minutes to 4 minutes, I might get a DMPs, like we saw with Cam Thomas with the Nets. Dude dropped 40 points 3 straight games, then takes some bad and he was taking bad shots in those games, but then takes some bad shots and then he DMPs, and it's like, it's just young players is just some coaches if they just don't like it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's all right. It's a human element, I think, to things. I really don't like Zebo, but I still put up with him every show and have him here coming back. But it's the human element of things. I love you, Zebo. I love you. But yeah,
they clowning you, bro. Why they clowning you, man?
Look at this. He's on mute. Look at he can't even talk.
First of all,
that's a rookie. I see that's an Obi Toppin mistake, man. That's an Obi Toppin mistake.
Yeah, man. Put it me.
Get him out. Look at that right there.
Oh my god,
bro.
We Obi Toppin Zebo right now,
man.
He gonna request a trade to another Knicks network.
Oh man, I'll trade him for a second.
You gotta go to the Toxic Boys or something.
Oh man, we gonna lose one.
Damn, man, they put me in the Obi Toppin low basketball IQ category. Heard you.
Put you the Stephon Marbury bench.
Put me in the damn, man. Put me in the Obi Toppin low basketball IQ category.
Who was the other dude? Nate Robinson. Remember Nate Robinson and played for like 20 games when he was with
D'Antoni hated Nate. D'Antoni, oh gosh, D'Antoni hated Nate.
He did drop 40 though in one game, like off the bench though. Like when he came in, I think when he sat like 10 straight games.
Yeah, I think he didn't play for like 19 straight games or something. And like I think some guys got hurt. They're like, bro, we actually need someone to handle the ball, so you gotta play.
Right.
I think he had a game winner too. That was oh man, sad Knicks times, but little good times. Yeah, little good memories with the team. But yeah, look, I'm a root for Obi. I'm not like a lot of Knicks fans who think Obi can go to a place and average 20 and 8. I think I saw today on the Athletic they compared him to Brandon Clark. I think Obi has a little better shot, but kind of like Brandon Clark numbers, maybe 14 and 6, 14 and 8 as a starter, because when you come off at the ninth guy on the bench, they're not really game planning for you. But now you're starting 4, and now they're gonna see where you like to shoot the ball, when you cut, how you like to move. They see all these things. So I think Obi is a solid right there, 14, 16 point per game.
He's gonna be able to get easy buckets if he goes to Indiana because they're gonna use him right. And I've been saying that every time we talk about Obi Toppin, it's like you got him a point guard. Guess what? You're gonna use him the same way to use him at Dayton. They're gonna use him in space. You're gonna use him to cut and all that. Not to make him a 3-point shooter. That's not his game. He made the best of it. Like he improved in that, which is good, and that's gonna help his game going forward. But the best way to utilize Obi Toppin, remember, he is 6'9". He is an athletic 6'9" player. You got to use him in space. And the Knicks
Yeah.
just said, nah, we're just gonna
Yeah.
make him a 3-point shooter. We were thinking Kyle
Crazy.
Korver. He's like, bro, yeah,
Bro.
and like I said, give him credit for working on his 3-point game because there's some games where he hit some big threes and he hit a lot of threes, but that's not his game.
Mm-mm.
His game's to be in space and all. You gotta take advantage of that athletic ability, and the Knicks just didn't use that. I know obviously the off we don't run plays anyway, so it's all Jalen Brunson and Randall Iso anyway. So he needs to go somewhere where they're gonna run play. They're gonna get him screen so he can go slash and get easy buckets and all that. So
Ricardo will do that.
Zebo, before I kick it to you, man, Obi was supposed to go to Cleveland. I mean, that was the team that was going to draft him. And you would just wonder if he would have gone to Cleveland, maybe with a little Darius Garland in there, how his career would have turned out, man. And definitely could have been in Utah right now in the Donovan Mitchell trade, but
we still would have messed up the draft.
we would have drafted.
We would have took it. I'm gonna go back right now. Look at the draft. We would have took the worst player possible in the 2020.
What was that draft?
We look back.
I know there was
I think it was
that's what I like too. People, and you know what's crazy with Devin Vassell? Remember the shot? Remember before the draft, people were freaking out about a shot. Remember there was that one video that came out about a shot. People like, no, we don't want him on the team and all that. And it was just one bad shot of the way he was shooting. He was trying something out because he was extending his range. He was working on his range, so he was working on some mechanics and all that. And that's what it was. And this dude's averaging 20 a game. And all that, like people, like and all that. Let's see, 2020 draft.
All right. Yeah, when I saw him,
we would have took Aaron Naismith.
Michael,
oh my goodness!
We would have took Aaron Naismith or something like that. That's what.
I wanted him. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted him. He was a shooter. 93 and
that's what it took. We mess up on first. We need just second round picks. The Knicks just.
Let's get that second round. But Zebo, what do you think on this Obi situation, man?
Listen, man, I'll be honest. I'm kind of out. Like, if I say, I feel the same way y'all do. I just hope the best. I do hope for them. I do hope the best for them. I actually do like that. Brandon Clark. That comp right there. Someone like a 6th, 7th man coming out the bench. Honestly, because I'll be honest, I was kind of joking, but kind of not, bro. I don't think his basketball IQ is that. I mean, even with you, I think even with you averaging 10 minutes a game, I think he didn't really do I don't think unless he was spotting up for a three. Unless he was spotting up for a three, he honestly didn't do much. He didn't really pass the ball. He can't really dribble at all. He can't really look at open man. So he didn't really affect the game other than him shooting three. So. I'll be honest, I'm kind of out, and I mean it is what it is. But I hope the best for him because he is athletic. He's definitely somebody that with a good point guard, like Halliburton, with a point guard like that, where he is cutting, where he's getting to the where he's getting to the rim every time. I think that's the quintessential. I think that's the right system for him. But other than that, I don't see him doing anything else other than being athletic and spotting up for three.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like the best thing about that too is no more minutes. He needs the minutes. As long as he gets the minutes, we're gonna see his game blossom and flourish to another level. Which I felt like you guys mentioned he was scared. On top of the fact that he was limited in minutes, he really couldn't do nothing out there to build confidence. If that dude is out here dunking windmill in the middle of games like he was here, but talking about for 30 minutes on the court, that 3-point shot is gonna come in no time because that 3-point shot, man, I feel like it's all confidence, and he be trigger happy, but the confidence that he just shooting just to shoot. So it just sucks though that he's also a hometown kid, in New York. Obviously the situation
hometown kids don't work in New York no more.
We all see
Marbury didn't work, Kemba didn't work. That hometown stuff is
tough.
We need to stop falling for that too. Man. We fall for that so much, and it breaks our heart because Kemba, we thought maybe all right.
Yeah, Kemba,
come back.
The Kemba was a tough situation though because we all knew what we were getting, but we was ignoring it almost. It wasn't like
we need to take a dude from Nebraska. Just
what's that 5'7" dude from Harlem? What's that 5'7" dude from Harlem? What's his name?
Powell, Marquise Powell.
Oh yeah, you gotta bring him home.
Oh yeah, man. Why you didn't? You don't?
Oh, you mean Marquise Noel? Marquise Noel.
Oh, yeah. Kansas State.
Kansas State, yeah.
What you think about him, Chris?
I mean, we're all taller than him.
Yeah, we are all tall.
We're
I don't
all
know.
tall. Nah,
Me
but
and him might be the same height.
Hey, you like, bro? You like Sharif Cooper, man? You really like
yeah,
Sharif the
yeah,
whole
no, I
time.
like Shree. Shree's still my guy. Still got stock in him, but nah, I don't think he's gonna get drafted. I don't think he's gonna get drafted, but I think a team's gonna take a shot at him. He's gonna get picked up. You're gonna hear his name get picked up after, and you're gonna see him in summer league and all that. He's gonna be like Jose Alvarado.
Okay.
He's gonna
Yeah,
annoy people and all that. Now he's not the defender like Jose and all that. He's more of an offensive player, but he's gonna annoy you, and he's just gonna do the little things and all that. What you got to do if you're that size to try to make it in the league and all that,
yeah.
But you're gonna make it work. He gonna get called, and you're gonna see in summer league. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's like all summer league, one of those teams and all that.
The Knicks
Yeah,
fans
Because
Yeah.
love him.
he's not
Knicks,
afraid.
yeah,
He's not afraid. Like I said, Kansas State was not supposed to be that good last year. That was a rebuilding process and all that,
hmm
and they had a hell of a season.
yeah.
yeah. I was
They
telling,
were not supposed to be that good last year.
yeah, and I was telling Don Juan. I think he'll be in the G League. He'll get a few. He'll get a 10-day for sure. I think he'll definitely get a 10-day, and I think he'll be the quickest guy. Like I think on any floor, he'll be the quickest guy, which is going to be his biggest advantage. So if he can beat people off the dribble, obviously, like in his Jose Alvarado. I don't know about Isaiah Thomas because that's like talking about Boston
Yeah,
Celtics Isaiah Thomas. That's the rich man's version of it. But yeah, someone like Jose Alvarado definitely.
but even if he don't even make it to the league, he can go overseas and he gonna be a legend somewhere.
Nah, he's gonna drop. Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
he's gonna drop buckets wherever he goes.
I mean, he gonna
Last
play in Puerto Rico right now. Like there's the hoopers out there right now. There's a lot of
Yeah, he
hoopers out
is.
there. You go to
Mhm.
NBL and all that. Regardless whether it's in the NBA, whether it's ever he's going wherever professional league he goes to, he's gonna have success somehow. Now, in the NBA, I don't know, but him making it on a team that's might be good enough
This
because
is gonna be a great
that,
clip right here to look back 5 years from now. You
he,
said it. You said it.
he's
He's
gonna
gonna.
be a pet. I wouldn't be surprised he's on an all summer league team because he's just gonna annoy people. He's gonna score. He ain't afraid. He ain't afraid. He
And I
wasn't
think,
afraid
and
in
I think he
college.
led the, I think he led the Big 12 in steals too. So like
Yeah,
that's where that, like you said before, like he has to bring it on the defensive end. 'Cause you're
he's gonna make
definitely right.
people in practice too. In
Yeah,
practice, we see how the NBA and practices and all that, and how it's so aloof. And no, he gonna make you work. So you might need a guy like that on your scout team and all that to do that. So he gonna work. He gonna make it. He gonna get picked up. And go to someone's camp, and they're gonna be like, damn, this guy's good. He's making my starting point work.
Draft day
hmm
tomorrow, man. We can't wait for draft day. But let's just hit on one more topic here before we get up out of here. Going back to the rumor mill, there's names churning. There's name churning, but one name who keeps sticking out, I think, is Zach Levine. Zach Levine, his hefty contract, it might be on the move for Chicago. I mean, it makes sense for Chicago. I mean, they're gonna run it
Yeah,
back with the same team and almost be tax level and not even make the plane again. It just makes sense to try to cash in on some Zach Levine chips. But Chris, I want to get your thoughts on Zach Levine. We talked about him before. We was both on the fence, but I don't know. Did you change your mind? Have you changed your mind?
I have.
Okay.
I have changed my mind on Zach Levine.
Wow.
I still there's things I worry about, but
So what would
I'm
be your
for
offer
me
before you go into your thoughts? Let me see your offer to see
now.
how
If RJ's
serious
in the
you are.
deal, if RJ's in the deal, I'm cool with it. I'm
Oh yeah,
cool.
RJ's in the deal. We
RJ
know
for
RJ's in the
stars.
deal.
RJ, you went to Duke and all that's cool, but I think RJ needs a new. I think he needs a new because what's crazy with RJ, his progression is actually at a good progression the way
It
he's going.
is.
But the fact that he's in New York and we changed, the way the roster is from going to like rebuilding to like, all right, we gotta win now. Now it looks like he's not progressing well, but he's actually progressing really well.
Good. I
If you're
agree.
on a normal team, so but if you trade Zach, and I don't know what the Obi stuff is, but whatever. If RJ's in the deal, and if it's a couple picks and all that,
Well, all right,
I,
so let me give you RJ, Obi, and you got the Fournier and Rose just to make the money work, and you get two unprotected and two protected picks. You know our protected picks kind of trash. but they get the
Make
unprotected.
the top 4 protected or something. You
Top
gotta
4.
protect them a
I'll
little
give you one top 4 protected.
because you could listen. We're the Knicks.
Yeah.
You
All right.
know we're
I'll
gonna
give
have. You know how that works. You
I'll
know
give
we,
you
Yeah,
we,
I
we
one.
do
agree,
the
man.
unprotected.
Definitely got to
And
be
guess what
top 4
happens?
protected.
It's gonna happen like mid 2000s where the Bulls are getting the 2 pick and the 4th pick. So you gotta
Jamal
top
Murray.
4 protect.
Jamal Murray goes to the
Yeah, we
Mavs.
gotta protect them. We
All right,
got at
one.
least
I'll
top
give
4.
you one protected 4 pick, 24 unprotected, 26 top 4 unprotected. Are you doing that deal?
24 unprotected. All right, because that draft is not that hot. 25, we got to keep that protected. 25 might be a lit draft. 24,
Okay.
Bronny, that's it. A little bit talk about the Bronny. There's good players, but there's not like a lot of blue chips yet. But all right, so you're saying, Fournier, RJ, IQ, Toppin, right?
Top.
And 2 protected first, an unprotected first, and that's it.
And one of ours protected. So 3 unprotected and 1 unprotected.
Jeez.
Wait,
I'm
3 unprotected and
Nah, 3 protected and 1 protected. Our protectors are kind of trash now. It's like the Pistons and the Wizards. They might
so
not
how many first rounders? You said 4 first
Yeah,
rounders.
4 first.
Protect them,
But 3 are protected. 3 are protected. Bro, the Bulls are gonna want something. It's Zach LaVine, man. He's 28 years old.
Oh, that's exactly. That's crazy.
They are getting something though. They getting the young guy they want. And I mean, come on, you can't
They
get
don't
bored.
want RJ. They don't want to match RJ in the
They
road.
said they want a young guy, and honestly, I'll be honest. RJ is pretty coveted around the league, like
All right,
compared to Julius.
I'll take 1 pick off. 1 pick.
You gotta take 1 pick off at least. That's a lot of
So
picks.
we doing
It's
3.
a
I love
lot.
picks. I'm a pick guy. I love picks.
I know 3 rounds. I don't know. You want
So let's do 3 first.
3 first.
2 protected, one unprotected.
Yeah.
And he played. He basically played a full season. He played a full season.
Even with the knee, and I do worry about the knee. He did play 70 games,
Yeah.
70
Yeah.
plus games. And he's
I don't know.
still-
7.
You're
Exactly.
thinking about it too much. You're thinking about it too much, man.
And
Yeah,
we just saw him play with a ball dominant guard with DeMar DeRozan, and he was efficient.
We know your answers, Evo. Clearly, we know your answers.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. We saw him have his 2 best efficient seasons with a ball dominant guard in DeMar DeRozan. And I know he's not Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson is also a ball dominant guard as well. So,
That's a great point. That's a great point.
and his defense is not that bad. He was league average when it comes to defensive rating.
Nah, Nevo's done his
It's
research.
bad. It's bad. It's bad, but he's all right.
It's not that. Yeah.
All right, bro. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I think I would pull the trigger on that.
You'll
I
pull
think
the
you
trigger.
pull. I think you pull the trigger on that. I think we kind of maxed out with RJ with this roster. What he's going to be. I think he is what he is on this team.
Yeah.
I don't think he's this much more. And listen, they tried to get rid of him before,
Yeah.
so so like that's real and all that. And who else? There's no one else on the market that's really really exciting that you feel like can help take us to the next level, because we got to think about that. Like it's not just about like do a little. No, we got to figure out how to get to the finals, the NBA finals. That's the move.
Mm-hmm.
We got to take that step. That's the next step, because we just make little moves. That's like, all right, so we get back to the first round. Like, no, what we got to do to get to the finals? Like, that's not a crazy thing. Like, we got to the second round of the finals, knowing that damn well if we beat Miami, who we beat 3 out of 4 times in the regular season, and late in the season before the playoffs started, we whooped them at the Garden, and we lost to them in 6, really 5. I mean, they up 3-1 on us, like, and it's like, no, we could get to the finals, guys. We just got to make that right move. And if they feel like Zach's that right move, I feel comfortable that we have Brunson in this.
Yeah,
I think Brunson makes me feel better about getting Zach, because I feel like Brunson can be that. Listen, he helped elevate Randall to be an All NBA player, right?
Yeah.
25 a game and all that. So maybe with Zach, because I know Zach is not a winning player, and that's kind of what bothers me. He hasn't won. He hasn't won at all in the league, But maybe Jalen, being that winning type of player and all that. But then we got to worry about. The thing is, what about with Julius Randle being a third guy? What is that? Because that's not an All NBA player as a third option.
No.
He's not an off-ball player. So to me, that's the thing. Is if we get Zach, okay, that's cool. But now what we do with Julius Randle? Because now he's gonna take a back seat. And he said, right? He
Let,
said on
let,
the
let,
podcast, he cool with it. But
let Zivo
I
answer that.
think it. I think if he's cool. I think if he's cool with it. I think if he buys into it, because I mean, I've said this. I've said this multiple times. On the pod. I think with him being the third best player on your team, I think you're winning. I think you're winning a championship. So I think if he buys into being
gotta
that,
buy in. Just gotta
yeah,
buy
I
in.
mean, if he buys in, then it works.
But do you
Because again,
think?
he's gonna get his looks. Because again, the defense is gonna, they're gonna put emphasis on Brunson, especially if you got
Mhm.
Zach there. They're gonna obviously they have to worry about him as well. So it's gonna give looks to Randall, and so yeah, I think if he's right mentally, if he buys into him being that, to being the third, being the third guy, then yeah. And again, some nights we're gonna need him to be the number one, number two. So
That's what I'm saying. It
it's
can
not
incorporate. It doesn't have to be
every
like
night the same
everyone has a
person.
one. Like it can
right.
Yeah,
be interchangeable and all that.
which
So like
which I think
if
that
he sees it that way, like hey, there's gonna be nights
yeah
that the all three gonna look at each other like, hey yo, this is Randall's night. This is your night, boy. You gotta take
Right.
dominate. There's gonna be
Right. Let's
times
just
that
feed you.
Zach, they ain't
Mhm.
they look who's defending you. It's gonna you to take over.
Yeah.
If they look at it that way, then then it could work. But
yeah
Right.
it's all about because we know how Randall sometimes gets.
Yeah.
He could say that, right? He said on the podcast, but we saw sometimes on the court. That's why I loved what he on the podcast. I loved how he was. Felt like he was very energetic. But that one part, I was like, no, laid by example. I was like, no, sometimes you push IQ against Orlando, bro.
Yeah.
You push, that's
Yeah.
against Orlando. So there
that
was
was a
some
bad
things where I was
loss.
like, yeah,
That was a
bro,
bad
there's
loss.
some things that on the court where you're leaving and you're being a sore loser, kind of. Like
Hmm.
when you good, when you drop in 40, yeah, but that's easy when you drop 40, be happy. You got to be able to take hey man, I had a bad night or whatever. You weren't like that. You don't talk to the media and all that, but you got to be able to handle that when you get 10 points, but you win. But Zach had 30 and Brunson had 30. Is he going to be cool with that?
I don't know.
It's easy to say because he said it, but we've seen it on the court. I don't. That's the thing. That's the one thing I did. But if he buys in because he wants to win a chip,
It'll be different.
then or else he got to go. Or
I
else they
do
got to
think
fire
that
Yeah.
him.
knowing Zach's skill level will probably also kind of check him as well, where he's probably seeing RJ, he's seeing Quentin Grimes, he's seeing IQ. He's
He
like,
don't
I'm better
trust
than these
RJ.
guys.
He don't trust
Which I feel
RJ.
like at the
No.
beginning, him just building that chemistry with Jalen Brunson wasn't like quick either.
Yeah, took a little bit.
So and that transition over time where Brunson became the clear one, and Randall, well, they kind of
They're
they definitely
interchangeable. Yeah,
exchanged
they're 1A,
a
1B.
bit, but we knew that Brunson was still like efficiently most consistent,
Mm-hmm.
and seeing a guy like Zach walk in the room, he might change. And I felt like it's something that was key in that podcast where he said, like, being hurt, going into the film and looking at, how the season played out, what he could do right, what he did wrong here, like what he could adjust. I felt like, he said that he didn't really have time to do that, to sit back. He was always just thinking about playing and improving on his skill, not really improving on his mental. Maybe his mental, like, anxiety, whatever that case may be, he said he was working on, but looking at the film, seeing where you got to work on, seeing it on paper as opposed to a coach telling you, yeah, just work on this shot, do this, that. I feel like that's going to be a big, big difference. But realistically, Brunson controls the game. He's going to control the distribution. I feel like he's always going to look for the winning plays, and all that is gonna level out as the season plays out. Hopefully the trade also, if there's a trade, hopefully it happens right away too, because I don't want to let this thing linger and then in September we pull a trade, no training camp, these guys didn't get no working together. We need to build some chemistry if a trade does happen.
Trust. That's the big thing. He didn't trust RJ. He didn't trust Grimes because how many times did we see him looking at and RJ was open? And he's like
Yeah, he
hesitant.
definitely.
If let's say they pull the Levine trade, if he gets that trust right away, maybe he'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I feel comfortable passing to him right away because I'm not going to be worried that if I give him the ball that he ain't gonna know what to do. He's gonna take a bad shot, because we know
Yeah.
Zach is an efficient player. So maybe that trust, if he feels like he could trust him right away, like he hasn't with RJ and then Grimes and some other guys, then it could work. But he has to have the trust. If he trusts Zach and then Zach is grooving, then That thing is big word trust.
Well, two thoughts from me on Levine. I think number one is the thing nobody mentioned here is that Tom Thibodeau aspect. I mean, sometimes Tom just doesn't like guys, and he shipped
Mm-hmm.
Zach Levine out of there as soon as he could for Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler. So we say that Tom, he might not be the coach. We might not like Tom, but Leon Rose seems loyal to the guy so far. So I don't know. Like, what if they come? They don't coexist. Now that's looking bad because we gave up, a 22-year-old that Chris mentioned. His progression is decent. It's going well. It's going well. Like every year he adds something to his game where you're like, oh, he didn't do this last year. Oh, he didn't do this last year. And he's 22 years old. So he can still continuously add to his game till he gets to that peak level. We just don't know where that peak level is. But as well, Chris mentioned that our timeline changed. We want to win right now. When RJ is going to be primed and ready, it might be like Wiggins, 25, 26,
Well,
27.
like Zach. Same
Yeah.
thing happened
Oh,
with
yeah,
Zach.
Yeah,
exactly.
Zach.
Perfect
Mhm.
example. Exactly. Zach Levine, right? So I feel good. I feel better. I'm not gonna lie with the trades that's going down because it looks like the trade market is
It's
stabilizing. It's like
that's
the
the
economy, like the inflation is going down. It doesn't
look at
cost.
Brad.
Yeah.
We all thought Brad was gonna get traded for like 3 first-round picks and that, and then we saw like 5 second-round picks and all that, and
And Landry
it's like,
Shamet.
oh, it's not as and
Shamet
like Brad
might be
when
there.
when Dame Lillard gets traded, it's not going to be as much as we're thinking too. It's going to be a lot less
That's
than
what I'm
that. So
saying.
like the
So
trademark, we thought Gobert ruined the trademark and all that, but like you said with the economy, it just
it's
tripped.
stabilizing,
It's
man.
like, no, guys,
Yeah.
the older players aren't getting traded. Like you making $63 million. No, we are not giving you 4 first-round picks and all that. We're
Yeah.
gonna give you second-round picks, and we're gonna take on the contract, and that's about it. You ain't
Exactly.
getting. We ain't gonna take on the contract and then give you a bunch of assets, first-round picks and all that. No, 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 no. It's either we take on the contract, which you don't want. All right, so that's a big thing, right? You don't want that contract. So like, yeah, you can't have both. You can't
And
have
Zach
me
Levine's
taking a
contract
contract and the
is like
picks.
that. Levine's
Yeah,
contract is like that. It's not really good. It's the last year I think it's 48 million or
yeah.
something, if I'm not
And,
mistaken.
Yeah.
and he's
Maybe
got the
50.
knee issues
And he
too,
got the
so he's
knee
taking on a
issues.
risk.
He'll be early 30s, 32, 33. I don't know. So I got to see the trade for me to really dissect that. But I do have concerns. That Tibbs aspect really scares me. The defense, it's on par with RJ. It's the same thing, but Tibbs likes RJ. I don't know if he really likes
That's the thing
Zach
too.
Levine, and he's yanking Zach Levine to put in quickly to close games. That's not gonna go well.
I don't think that'll
That's not
happen,
gonna
man.
go, we don't know, bro. We've seen it with Tibbs, bro. The
Nah,
only
we have, and what I would say is that Tibbs has spoken highly of him, and he's even spoken about the situation in Minnesota where where the timeline changed as well,
Yeah,
where
That's a good
he
point.
had to trade
he
Zach
had
to
too much
to
power too. He was a
and yeah,
GM
he
also.
was a
Like
coach and GM,
that
so
never
he was
works
like, yeah,
out.
if I got to make a move, I'm gonna make it, and he did, and he
Yeah,
brought this guy Jimmy Butler, and you know how life works. He wants to, well, not he wants to, but the connection there with Zach Levine, it just shows you what the business is about, where a young guy could get traded for a star player, and in
mhm.
this other side of the story is actually Zach Levine being the star player as opposed to Jimmy Butler as before, like before. So I think it'll work, and Zebo even mentioned it too before, man. Like a new change of scenery, you want to actually prove yourself, and Zach Levine, he's entering his prime, and the
Yeah,
injury thing, I feel like though the injury prone tag has been overblown, I think he's gonna prove that he's healthy and could play without, getting hurt, might miss on some rest or, back to back, just like any typical NBA player that does load management. And it's just is another team that he's going to when that
Mhm.
starts. I'm pretty sure it might hurt a bit, but it also shows like, look, this team wants you, and especially in this
yeah,
situation where he's gonna see his value. He's like, damn, I went for
And it's
that
New
much,
York.
New
New York,
York, big
right.
stage. Like I gotta
harder.
turn it up, and I think he will, man. I personally, I didn't really like the deal for Zach because of the knee issue, but then I actually looked at the numbers and I'm like, well, how many games did he miss? But wait, this injury prone tag is actually
Yeah.
BS. Obviously,
And then you look
everybody
at the
has their
second
own.
half stats where he's starting to get healthy, and he
Yeah,
played really well. Yeah,
and then the efficiency thing also, like that's the clear thing that we need right now. We need people that can hit
efficiency.
shots.
Yeah.
And RJ, unfortunately, I like that you pointed RJ because for me, I liked RJ as being as like the centerpiece, but for some reason, the way I see IQ's contract going like breaking down, he might play tough and he wants to be a starter. The Bulls seems like the most logical place for him to go to. Plus, the team that's willing to pay even more than what the Knicks would probably pay. They were talking about 20. Triple M brought up a good point last week where, he could probably compare himself to IQ. I mean to RJ. Like he played almost up to RJ's like capability this year. He stepped up on defense, stepped up on offense. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
but you're
especially
making
in
great
negotiation
games.
tables.
He
Yeah.
could demand close to RJ numbers. RJ, I think he's getting paid 23 and 25, 26, and so forth. Where I think IQ could demand that on a new team as a starter, and he might have his eyes set on that. He said before he wants to be a starter, so that's the only reason why I would think about even trading him as opposed to RJ. But I feel like RJ, that's the clear upgrade that we need, and is Zach replacing RJ.
It would have to be a lot because the Bulls can't have RJ and the mall. That'd be pretty crazy. That'd be a crazy brick
Well,
show,
they're
right?
trying to. Apparently, the rumor is they're trying to trade him too. So
That'd be
I think if they make that move, that means they're rebuilding.
so yeah. So
Yeah.
it'll be
So it's
interesting, man. I can't wait. This is my favorite time because it's done speculating and now it's action. Tomorrow's the NBA draft. Um,
the first domino after
First
that.
domino, and then it's free
it's a
agency.
lot of stuff gonna be
And
shaking
with the
tomorrow.
CBA is gonna be crazy, man. I'm expecting a crazy, crazy next couple days. So, Chris, you might have to come back on in a few days, or we might have to go live or do something.
For
It's gonna be,
sure.
No, for sure. You
gonna be
know I'm
nuts.
ready.
So
It's
we'll,
gonna be
we'll talk
crazy
about it,
tomorrow.
but you already know the vibes, man. Knicks fans wilding here. Thank you to our guest Chris LeBron, always the president
Appreciate you,
of
bro.
the ball. Give us
Salute,
some thoughts,
always.
man. Talk about that mock draft before we get up out of here.
Yeah, I dropped the mock draft. It looks crazy now because everything, the mad trades happened, so it's not gonna be as accurate. But I dropped the mock draft last week, so you could check that out. I got the big board, top 58 guys up. There's only 58. If people don't know that, it might look weird with the draft. There's not 60 picks. There's only 58 picks because there's 2 picks forfeited. I think Milwaukee and the
Miami,
Sixers,
Miami.
Miami, their picks got forfeited, which I don't like because that means 2 kids aren't going to hear their names drafted on draft day. So I said that they should have rewarded the teams that went to the finals with those, since we reward losers so much in the NBA. Why not reward teams that get to the finals and give them more, give them those picks and stay, they're winning. And with the new CBA, we're this, we're just taking away winning. Like, you try to win, and we're gonna just gonna get on you for that. And so I felt bad for 2 kids that aren't gonna hear their names called draft day. But yeah, I got my top 58 players and all that I dropped yesterday. You could check that out on my Twitter, off the ball pod. You can see the list and all that. Like I said, I dropped the mock draft uh last week. It only even gonna look right because there's been trades since then that's happened, but it's kind of be the same of how I would look at it regardless of the picks and all that. But you could
Oh,
check
we're
that out.
excited,
You
man.
see that
We're
on
excited.
my Twitter and my Instagram if you want to check it out.
Yeah, yes, sir. We excited, man. Make sure to show love to the Off the Ball pod as always. We out here, we working. Big things this summer cooking up. So Don Juan, get us up out of here, man. Give us some final thoughts here as we get up out of here.
Well, as we approach the draft tomorrow, Knicks still have no pick, so hopefully we could, get in there. I feel like every year we
Man,
we say it's gonna be
Knicks
a
fans
crazy
gonna be
draft, and the
pouring. It's
Knicks
gonna be
don't
like
do
this.
anything. They either trade in or trade out, and hopefully,
Yeah,
we trade in and stay there and do something special with it.
I
I
think they
might,
will.
But
They'll get a pick.
make sure to like the video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate every one of y'all that joined us on this live show. It was a dope show. It was great content, real informative. Like I said, I only knew the first 3 names. I took some notes here on the couple plays that you mentioned earlier, so I'm gonna be looking forward to following the draft and making sure we get with Julian Strother. Let's see if we could get him somewhere down the line. But nah, for real though, appreciate you coming on, Chris. You're always holding it down for us, man. Always showing up, man. And
Always.
good luck tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a big day. It is all the work that you done all year. tomorrow you get to see it
Are
unfold.
you-
And it's gonna be fun.
Look out for Ricky Council the fifth, man. That's my guy right there. I just saw his name and it stuck
Man,
out.
he's bouncy. He can
Are you
score and
gonna
all
be
that.
on Knicks fan TV tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on there
Oh,
tomorrow.
that's dope. I love when
Fire.
he's on
That's
there.
3 years straight, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dope, bro. That's
I
dope.
remember being a caller on there.
Yeah,
I was one of the regular. I was a caller on there. Now I'm hosting shows and all that.
nah, man,
It's
yeah,
it's,
shout out
it's
Fire.
to
dope.
Fan
That's
It's,
TV.
fire.
it's dope. It's
We'll
real cool
definitely be
to
hitting
go
you.
from a caller to being a host or like coming
Yeah.
in as like a drop-in host is dope. And then being on the draft show 3 straight years,
That's
that
dope.
that
That's,
you know
and a
that's
lot
dope.
of fire, a lot of
Hey,
fire.
that's
So
the
be
good
sure to
work,
catch
man.
this,
Good work you be putting out, man.
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I remember when CP hit me up. I was working security. I'm doing podcast stuff, and and I was always thinking, yo, it'd be dope to have to be on the show. Whoop. CP, I'm like, nah, this can't be him. He's like, bro, would you want to come on the draft show? I'm like, yeah, of course. I called out of work that day. I was like, I ain't gonna work. No, we prepping and all that, and then on the host. I hosted the show.
What a
Like
crazy
I
draft.
was CP for a day. I remember when people when I came on the screen, they do the little intro video, and they see me, they're like, "Yo, who is this?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
not
the funniest
CP,
comment was the funniest comment was like they got the G League on Knicks fan TV
yeah,
on it.
yeah, yeah." It was me and Jeff. Yeah, they
Yo,
called it.
the chat be
Well, you
going
know what?
crazy.
It was bumpy in the beginning, but we took them along on the ride, and they were like, "Yo, we appreciate the G
Yeah.
League for coming
No, it
in
was
and all
great.
that."
It was
So
good.
it's been dope, man. It's been dope to being a caller on that, to coming in, just the draft. That's why I love the draft. The draft is what made the podcast go. So that's what started the podcast
killing
to
it,
take
and
off and all that. So the
the-
draft is like in my blood. Like that's just whenever it's draft season, I'm all in. Like I just love it. It's so much fun, and then just
Yeah, you be doing the
the
mock draft.
networking and all that, and it's been fun, man. It's dope. For people that get me on the show, like I'm not one of these insiders like that and all that, but for people to want me on their show and talk the draft, I think that's always dope, though. So
Hey,
appreciate
us,
you guys
Knicks
having me on.
fan wilding right here. We needed it. We needed it, and now we know
Appreciate
few
y'all.
players, man. So let's get up out of here. Zebo already dropped. This thing's probably died. So I'm gonna holla at y'all, man. Peace.
Yep. Peace out, guys.